Hello. We are broadcasting live from the Center of Peace. Well, of course they are. Are they outside the door? That's okay. This is why we like live shows. There's somebody coming in, so just hang on. I don't really personally myself like can anything, so come on in. Oh, hey! Oh my gosh! Wow! It's been a long time.
It is.
Wow, it looks a lot different here than high school days.
Yeah, feels good.
It's friend of my son's. Oh my God! Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, welcome everybody to the Center of Peace, and we're going to be talking a lot about the outer heat that's going on in the weather. The weather is always an outward manifestation of a group energy. It's always a reflection of the group emotional body. So as we know, things are heating up in your own lives, in the outer world, all the things we've been seeing on the news, and I addressed a lot of this last night about the Zimmerman Martin situation, and I will be referring to that during this oracle. And the reason is it's an old paradigm. Everything you're seeing being played out in the outer world right now has to do with duality, hatred. The Old Testament is where we learned eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That's really what the law of karma is. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If you do this, then this is going to happen. Jesus, Buddha, all the great saints and masters thousands of years ago said, I came to fulfill the law. I came to fulfill the law of the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I am here to bring a state of peace, a state of grace. And that's what Dharma is, and that's what forgiveness, and that's what going into the higher mind is all about. Those are words spoken 2,000 years ago. And 2,000 years later, we as a group consciousness are still on the throes of the ending of that old realm of the Piscean age, of learning through duality, of learning through extremes. And when it's a way you can learn. You can learn through, this is black, this is white, this is good, this is bad. This is, anytime you fall down into that lower, and again, it's the lower brainstem. It's the reptilian brainstem that we all have. And that lower reptilian brainstem will always want you to think in black and white, good and bad, opinionated, polar, immediate, fear, or flight. And what we have in that situation, and this is the saddest thing of all for both families and for everybody involved in that storyline, and why those two souls chose at this point in history to be where they were, end up in that situation at that moment. Trust me, these things go on all over the world all the time. This is not like, this is a little slice of something that we're all supposed to be learning from. The commonality of both of those young men was fear. Fear-based reality. We have George Zimmerman, who wanted to protect his neighborhood by carrying a gun and by being very vigilant. Fear-based. There's nothing wrong with neighborhood watches and people watching out for each other, but he had fallen into a lower frequency of overkill, basically. Overkill. Then we have a very young man who was also very fear-based, as we're finding out. He was operating from a place of fear as well, because, and this is where, in my opinion, again, when things like this happen in the outer world, I go, okay, what's pushing my buttons? Why is this activating me? And when the whole shooting occurred and the whole storylines were coming out, what I try to do, and I would encourage everybody to do this in your own personal lives, not just what you see on TV, but every moment, every day, what's happening in your inner world. Notice what pushes your buttons. Notice what makes you angry. Notice what put you in a depression, or anything that will get you off center, go with it. Don't go crazy, but don't try to block it. You want to feel and go back to point of origin. You want to go back to the root of where is this coming from. But what we do, we've all been traumatized, we've all been afraid, we've all felt angry, we've all felt like we want to maybe do something, beat up somebody or shoot somebody. We all have these situations where you go, whoa, yeah, that, or where you've been a homeowner and you felt afraid, or you know. But every day in your life, notice what pushes your buttons. Notice where do I dwell? Am I living in a place of fear, or am I living in a place of unconditional love and truth? We only have two choices for the survival of this planet. Are we going to continue to live in a frequency that's very low, that says, I am afraid? When people are afraid, what do they want to do? They want to judge, they want to control, they want to divide, they want to separate, they want to say, I am this religion, I am a male, I am a female, I am a black person, I'm a white person, I am this country, that country, I believe this, and what I believe is right, and what you believe is not right. That's what fear-based reality is all about.
I'm not getting any sound.
Anybody else listening to it?
No one else is called to keep checking.
So you're not getting sound, or
I'm not getting sound on my computer.
is your sound turned off?
No, it's
Well, are you getting sound? Well,
keep talking.
nothing would surprise me. The way
I mean, it's looking
it's
like
moving,
sound.
it's
Looks
looking
like
like there's
yeah.
sound.
I'll text you.
So you can put yours on just to see. Of course, I'm not saying anything else. There's not a sound coming through. All right, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Am I? It's coming through. Can you hear me?
This is from the beginning.
Of course, I'm not saying.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, I know what that was, but that's okay. That's just this divided reality. That's the stuff that's been going on. So, as I was talking about, yeah. Anyway, I highly, highly, highly advise you to, we have never been in a more important shift in human consciousness than we are at right now. There are billions of people on this earth because we've all been here before at this time of the potential for the quantum leap out of fear-based reality into the higher frequency of unconditional love. That's why all the souls are back. And so what you see playing out in the outer world right now is the very last of all the Piscean age, where it's about duality, and it's about the subconscious mind, and it's about the lower frequency. So what happens is when you have situations like we see in the outer world, you see people, instead of going within and thinking, okay, what are my issues, they jump on the bandwagon. I mean, I think one of the most surprising ones was Stevie Wonder saying, I'm never going to play in Florida again. It's like, wait a minute, we love you, Stevie. What are you thinking? You'll never, it goes to the point of blaming the whole state of Florida. It's like, and this is what happens with extreme behaviors and extreme thinking. And it's happening on the other way too, where you're seeing a lot of people who, and to me, I don't really think it was a racial issue. And that's what's so interesting to me. He obviously, as of other nationalities, I mean, to me, I don't think it was racial. I think that, and this is a thing that's very hard for people to understand, there are powers that be that would, just like during the Civil War, they want division. A house divided can't stand. And there are dark forces in this government that want a house to stay divided. When you have a house divided and you have people focusing on racism, potential race, or whatever, warring each other, you're not going to have peace. You're not gonna move forward. And it's a way to, when you have dramas like this playing out, and you have people going to the streets and doing protesting and saying all the things, and we have the right to do that. That's fine. But when it turns to like what it did in LA last night as an excuse to rob and mug people and do destructive things, and that's what happens. There are factions that wait, they prey. They prey on that energy because hatred, fear-based reality, judgmental reality, controlling energy leads to violence, leads to death, leads to destruction. When we go into the higher frequency of unconditional love, you're not in that lower brain that's telling you, I better fight or run away. And so when you see situations like this playing out, people get a lot of courage, right? And it's really fake, bad courage. I'm going to go to the street and I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And no, you're not doing anything good for Trayvon. I got big news for you. You think you're doing something good for Trayvon? This is not a good thing that anybody's doing for either person. This is not, I'm sure he's in, actually I have kind of felt him in spirit, and it wasn't exactly him speaking to me, but I'll tell you what I saw. I saw a group of, and again, it had nothing to do with color. It was not a black person, a white person. It was a collective energy of kids that age who have passed away due to violence and stupidity and overkill and negative energy. And I felt this overwhelming sadness when I felt their energy, but I felt them as a group going, no, wait a minute, no, what are you guys doing down there? This is not what the right answer is. Because when you pass over, you are forced to look to see how your thoughts, feelings, and actions affect other people. And then you're given a chance to heal things. So when I saw this collective energy of children, really, that in a sense are a product of so many things in our society that brought them to where they are, I felt a higher consciousness around them going, learn from what you're seeing, influence your friends, get it, send messages of positive energy, not negative. And that's when I started to do the writing last night. And because I think it's one of the saddest things of all when dark forces will grab hold of situations to manipulate the general public, and that's what's going on. Or there's the melee that's going on. The other thing I found that I find always distasteful, and my brother is an attorney, but he's not a trial, he does estate law. And so he would never like to do trial law. I think one of the worst injustices in our legal system is what is allowed in court and what's not. Really? If everybody could, if you can hire a better lawyer than another lawyer and they can keep this out of evidence and they can keep this hidden and the jurors don't hear everything, really? And on both sides there were very unattractive things. It wasn't just Trayvon, the video that I'll go into in a minute. There were very unattractive things about George Zimmerman as well, both sides. But they managed to, nope, can't see that. Why not? Why isn't it relevant that, and again, this is coming from a fear-based place, and this is not a judgment. I understand. I'm so glad that I'm not the age young people are now in the society and brought up in, the way certain people are being brought up. There was a video of him refereeing 2 fights and advocating fighting. If you don't believe me, type in his name and put video and put fight, and that will show you. It will show you what was kept out of evidence. And a video of him fighting, and it was very recent. And saying very violent things about, very ghetto, very, got to fight, So again, to me, it was based on fear. He wasn't that big a guy. He was a little guy. He was a little guy, and I'm not saying he's a horrible, bad person. Did he deserve that? Hell no, of course not. But if you look, we only see things that happen in a moment. You always have to go back, back, back. So if you go back into, there's actual, it wasn't just video. There were text messages, there were voice messages of this kind of talking before this ever happened, before he ever encountered George Zimmerman. So he was clearly, at his young age, he had chosen a path of, I want to fight. I want to see fighting. I want to participate in fighting. And when I'm 18, I'm going to get a gun. That's also on tape, right? Same thing. If you would delve into George Zimmerman's past, there were some odd things. And there were, I mean, he was definitely, in my opinion, very paranoid. So you have this extreme behavior going on. And you see how, you know, we've all heard about law of attraction. This is one of these negative laws of attraction. So if you have two people from different worlds, different ages, different age groups, one person is very fear-based, wanting to the degree of wanting to patrol, and we've all seen those people. You know, we all have neighborhood watch people. There's always the people that are like this side of being on the other side of something because they're overly vigilant. They're overly they're watching you. Ooh, you left your house at 111. People need to get a life. You're going to find this. I mean, it just happens in this kind of these kind of settings. You have him being overly vigilant, overly, in my opinion, paranoid. Then you have the other situation where there's already this mentality of fighting and hormonal. When you're 17-year-old boy, you kidding me? Well, 17-year-old boys want to have sex and fight and they're wild. It's a wild, come on. I remember how George, he's older. I mean, it was so he was in a different setting. So this was a case of fear-based reality at its worst colliding. Horrible. Absolutely despicable. I mean, it couldn't, but for people to polarize and go and make one person a saint or make one person a devil, trust me, I'm 64 years old, and the older I get every day, I'm going to tell you right now, things are not black and white. Things are always, there's subjective reality. It's like the old story, 10 blind men describing an elephant. You can get 10 different descriptions. You can have 10 people that see an automobile accident, ask insurance people when they go to investigate accidents. You have totally different subjective viewpoints of what happened in that accident. That's how it is when you are in this one level of being and thinking. Now, what I want to share tonight, and not dwell on the negative, but go into higher frequency, is that in the shifting that we're in right now, all of us, everybody, has the opportunity to integrate with your high self, with your pilot self. The pilot self, this high self, higher self, it's called. I call it the pilot self because it's like being up in an airplane and has an aerial view of everything. And in the past, people have had the perception that it's something we attain through meditation or prayer or when we're dreaming. No. The Aquarian age is you as an individuated soul, self, emerging from the Piscean age of learning through duality in the subconscious mind into your unique expression of God that you are. And we're made in the image of Creator. And we're given the gifts of free will and co-creation. But because we're made in the image of the Divine Mother, Divine Father, the Yin, the Yang, however you want to look at the Creator energy, we have many abilities. I think the 80% of the brain that we have, they say we don't know why we use it. It's about higher consciousness. It's about bringing your divine lineage in. It's about stopping the lower DNA, the sins of the fathers that go through 7 generations, the weaknesses of the body, mind, and spirit that go through repetition, learning through suffering, learning through repeating patterns. It's old, it's bad, it's negative, it's not what we're supposed to be doing. We have the capability to, at all times, have this integration with this higher part of ourself. When you are in, and you all know the state, Animals have it. Little children have it. They're just in a state of unconditional love and innocence and openness, unless they've been abused. They're in this state. It's a state we all have, and it's what different scriptures of different religions talk about. Except you become a child, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. So when you are in, doesn't matter what chronological age you're in, we all have this innocent child part of ourselves that was created by the divine. It's a divine spark within you that's pure. And what the worst thing that's happened on this earth with religion, man-made parts of religion. Religions are here, they serve a purpose, they help many people. But religion, when it says, you're not going to go to heaven if you do this, or if you don't believe this way, then this is going to happen. This doesn't have a lot to do with higher spiritual law, or lack of law. There's spiritual consciousness, and then there's the dogma. So what everybody's grappling with right now is the fear versus the unconditional love, the need for the lower mind to always be told what to do. There's an interesting story about what's called the Emerald Tablets. When Moses first went up to get to the burning bush to get the higher spiritual law in writing, they say that he first came down with what they call the Emerald Tablets. So he comes down and he had this amazing epiphanies, and they say that nothing was written in the negative. Nothing was thou shalt not. Everything was higher consciousness. There was nothing that was said in a negative. It was, he was in a very high frequency and getting very high transmission from higher consciousness that was being related to the general public. Here comes Moses down the path, and what does he see? People out of control. He leaves for a little bit, and he thinks, this is really cool. I got these high laws, and we're going to be able to share these high spiritual laws. And he comes back, and people are doing all kinds of, they're worshiping the idols. They're fornicating. They're whatever, all kinds of wild things were going on that were, just out of control. And when he, in that moment, he smashes them, smashes the Emerald Tablet, because he has a realization, ooh, they're not ready to self-govern. They're not ready to hear higher spiritual law. So he goes back up, and that's when he comes back down with, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not. And that's what happened. And it's a horrible thing, because when the brain, we know this from psychological studies, when the brain says to anybody, don't do this, you can't do this, what do you want to do? The very thing, try it with your kid. We've all been there, and adults, somebody tells you not to do something, that's exactly what you want to do. You can go anywhere but right here. Oh, really? I think I'm just going to go right over here. It's part of how the lower brain functions. So, again, to me, when I would hear these stories in Bible school and stuff, I would think, well, why wasn't there a middle road? Why wasn't there some kind of just like when I'm trying to convey here about what we're seeing in this outer world about taking sides, about, if you're for Trayvon or you're blah, 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 or we should kill George, this crazy stuff that's going on. It's not about that. Where is a middle road? Where is there a path of sanity that is about where we've got to find a middle road? And so the same thing happened way back in the day. There was this very high spiritual law that a few people could grasp, but the majority of the people weren't there yet. So let's just smash those tablets. Let's go back up, and then we better just get really severe on their butts, and we're going to write the severe stuff. And this is where we're all at right now. We are not children. We are returning to our original healed inner child, but we're adults. God doesn't want you to pray every second for him or her or creator, however you want to see God, to do things for you. That's codependent. You were made in the image of Creator, and you were given free will, and you were given the powers of co-creation. What a wonderful gift. And you were sent off, as it were, to use your free will any way you wanted to. So what happens, and that's the story of the prodigal son. That's an interesting story, too, of the and a very good lesson in what we're speaking about tonight. And if you don't know the story of the prodigal son, it's very interesting. Again, it's an extreme story. The very wealthy man had two sons. One son said, Father, give me my inheritance now. I want to go out in the world, and I want to go away and see the ways of the world. The other son kissed up to his father and said, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm going to stay right here and be good. And I remember hearing this story when I was a young child, and I grasped it right away, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. So the one son that was given a bunch of money, given his inheritance, he goes out, he gambled it away, pissed it away, if I can say that. Oh, well, I can say it's my show. He did all kinds of wild and crazy things. He went out there and just, it was all gone. But when he was out there, he had some epiphanies about, maybe this was not what I should have done. Maybe, and he learned through the negative things that he did. And he came back and he asked for forgiveness. And it really made the good son, the goody two-shoes guy that stayed home and was going, well, why should he be welcomed back with open arms? I was the good, we all know people like this, right? People put on the big, I'm so good, and I go to church, and I do this, and the appearance of my life is this, but they're not really living their life. They're just, they're and to me, again, it's the extremes. He didn't learn that much because why did he stay home and not go out and do the big thing? He was fear-based. It's almost like he was fearful to go. He was fearful to experience his own free will or co-creation. And I know many people read that story and they don't understand it. It's like, well, why would you reward this bad person? Why would you reward this bad kid and make a big feast and welcome him home? It's an allegory. It's an allegorical story about all of us. God doesn't want you to be a little kiss-up that goes to church every week, and then you leave church and you take off your face and you're mean to people, or you're not good to, or it's how you live your life. It's how you treat others. We can't read the books anymore. It's about actualization of unconditional love. It's about actualizing your powers of co-creation, helping others. But you can't help others or love others any more than you are helping or loving yourself. And so we see it a lot in the outer world with people that get into all kinds of do-gooding things. And there's nothing wrong with do-gooding things. I mean, somebody needs to have those organizations. But we talk about this all the time, people in animal rescue. You see the good, bad, and the ugly of people in animal rescue. You see people that have a lot of self-hatred, and the only thing they think they need rescue, because when they're taking the animals, it's really they're seeing a wounded part of themselves. But instead of healing, they just keep, and that's how hoarding starts. They just keep rescuing. They don't think. They don't go, wait a minute. All they see, because they're coming, we can only manifest from what's going on inside of ourselves. So if we're wounded and we stay wounded and we stay in a place where we don't really like ourselves or we don't think we deserve love, that's how, to me, that's how hoarding starts of any type. It's something that's missing. So people, again, it's fear-based. There's not a change. And just like in the things we see in a higher form of animal rescue, you see the people, or a lot of people that say they're rescuing, you go in their house and they've got animals in cages, and you're going, whoa, really? Oh yeah, because it gets out of control, so then they have to, and the very thing that they're saving the animals from being in a cage in a kill shelter, it it gets out of control, and that's what they have in their own house. And this is what happens with extremes. So when you, okay, so if you, whatever, again, what pulls on you, what speaks to you, whether it be from a wounded place or a healed place, that's what you go with, but you heal it. You don't heal it by, it's like putting a Band-Aid over cancer, by rescuing people or animals or doing these things. Everything is about motive and intention. So heal yourself. Jesus and Buddha both said, healer, physician, heal thyself. You can't just be this person that goes around. You can only heal others to the degree that you are healed within your own being. So in the times we are in, every day, get out of the place of judgment of yourself. Some of the best people I know, we are the hardest people on ourselves. We're critical, we're judgmental of ourselves. We beat ourselves up. We think we're not whatever. Love you unconditionally. Let that light come into the darkest places in your heart, mind, and spirit. This is no time to have skeletons in your closet. This is no time to have secrets and lies. They're not going to stand anyway. We're in a time that as the earth and our bodies are turning into light, everything's exposed. In all the 43 years that I'm doing this work, the common theme of the last 6 months are people finding out the most amazing, outrageous things that were hidden in their families as secrets. I'll give you some examples. People, their parents die, they go and they find that their sister that was adopted was really their dad's illegitimate child from a secretary. It's one of the ones. It's quite shocking to people. Or people that you thought were your aunt that was really your mother. Or people that you, and these really bizarre, but they weren't, because back in the day when, because all these people that are coming are older people now, they're 67 years old and their parents have passed, and they find that forever their mom or dad was actually in love with somebody else. But it gives you aha moments of why certain things probably were the way they were in your home. But it's very sad. It's a very sad thing, because we were raised to, we don't want to hurt people. How do we hurt people? When we lie. Anytime there's deception, there's a lie, it will always come out at the end of the day. So it's been I'm telling you, almost once a day in the sessions I'm doing, there are people coming in with these just beyond wild stories of things that they found out that were hidden. And it's not just those people, it's all of us. So, and again, I don't mean you have to confess your sins and hold them up and stand on the street corner and say, hey, I was this horrible person and I stole this or I did that or blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about between you and God. You make yourself right between yourself and your Creator. You do your inner work. You all know what I'm talking about. I have done years of therapy and working on myself and thought I had cleared certain things, or I thought I was, in this last year, in this last few months, in this last few weeks, in this last few days, I've had some aha moments of myself where I had no clue, because as I'm allowing myself to go into higher consciousness that's in my everyday life, instead of waking up every day and like a rat in a maze going from point A to point B to point C and staying stuck in routine and lower consciousness, as I've taken off the blinders and I've gone farther and farther and bigger picture of my own life, I've gone, okay, I think you were wrong. Or, you start to see how you participated in something that before that, maybe you just saw yourself as a victim. And it's not easy stuff to look at. It is not, trust me. I've had some stuff that if anybody ever told me, I'd have to just face it, deal with it, some of the most intense pain, but I'll tell you what happens. When in that dark night of the soul, which we're all going through, when you heal the secrets, when you heal, and again, a lot of stuff, it's innocent. You didn't know. You didn't know that you were doing the best you could do. And it's like with our parents or people, they did the best they could do from where they were in their consciousness. And that's what in the outer world right now. So it's so easy just to look at somebody in a moment in time and condemn them and hate them and want to punish them and all this kind of stuff. I encourage you, do not run away from the dark night of the soul. We're all in it right now. To go to the highest levels that we're going into and that we're in, it's just, again, like the saints and masters, like Jesus. He had to descend into the death, hell, and the grave. He went through anything you could think on this earth that was not pleasant. He had to face himself. He had to face abandonment. He had to face betrayal. He had to face all these things. All the archetypes, all the stories that are in all the different religions were they real? Sure, a lot of them were real, but a lot of them are allegorical. It's about the allegorical story of us as people on this earth. But we are so lucky to be alive, these spiritual beings in a physical body on this earth at this time, to see the vast change in communication and consciousness, and you're going to see amazing goodness. And unlike what is portrayed purposely daily as like a mind control of the evil, the bad, the dark, there are many, many, many more good people out there than evil. The vast majority of the experiences that are happening in this world are good. They're not like, the world is not filled with terrorism and evil plotters who are going to blow you up and who are going to do these kind of things to you. So get yourselves out of your own jail cell. Unlock, actually, your jail cell's unlocked. Just get out of there. Notice what makes you fearful and embrace it. Notice what activates you. Embrace it. Move through it. When you get into the trap of all that is when you get caught in a reactive place. And again, that's what karma is. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You throw a pebble on a water, it skips around. It's the same thing. Everything we think, feel, say, and do goes out into a rate of vibration. The Akashic Records, the Lamb's Book of Life, again, many, many religions, many scriptures talk about this amazing place that has these records of eternity and records of behaviors. The lower mind, of course, of people wants to think that there's little angels or people writing, you were good, you were bad, you did this, you did that, or like Santa Claus, if you're naughty or nice, we're going to put the naughty, and it's not like that. There is a book, but you know what it is? It's a living, breathing frequency. Everything that you or anyone thinks, feels, says, does, goes out in a rate of vibration that can be read. It's not something that's written down on a piece of paper, or people will have dreams about the Akashic Records or the Lamb's Book of Life, and their lower mind will see them reading things. This is how a lot of psychics or mystics will read from those levels, and it's a very real thing. It's basically when I encounter people, they feel more like just energy patterns to me, not the physicality. So again, everything that there's nobody sitting up there judging. Everything that you think, feel, say, and do goes out to a rate of vibration. So we no longer live in a time where, and we've all been taught to be very divisive. We've been taught to be passive aggressive. We've been taught not to speak our truth. We've been taught to have schisms because we don't want to hurt people's feelings, or we, you get like a deer in the headlights because if you don't give the right answer, so maybe I'll just make up something. Anytime you're not in your body, in your mind, in your space, in your freedom to speak your truth, and there's actually fragmentation. There's pieces of you that get caught. That's what happens to children. Children who have been abused or molested or had very severe things happen to them, to survive, they go somewhere else in their head. They just go somewhere else. They fragment, so they're not totally experiencing the bad thing that's happening. So there's a lot of remembrance that's going on for people too. You're all going to start, because there is no more linear time. Again, on October 28th of 2011, when the Mayan calendar collapsed, it was not 12/21/12. When the end of October of 2011, we woke up and a big dump truck had dumped over the whole earth and over everybody's individual life all of your stuff, good, bad, and different, past, present, future. It's just in a big pile. And it's your pile. It's not somebody else's. And it's the other side of the age of Aquarius is about, the individual healing the illusion of separation. Well, the reality of healing the illusion of separation is that you can't blame other people anymore. If you're not separate from your stuff, that's your stuff. You can't go, well, oh, okay. It used to be easy to go, well, this happened, and no, this is spiritual law. We're being removed from that duality, and you're seeing a big picture of wholeness, oneness, and that feels really good. But in those moments of that, you're also having to take ownership for what you as the Lord of your creation have created. And those are the dark nights of the soul that we're all going through. There's reasons why people can't sleep. There's reasons why people are activated, agitated, angry. You're going to have the gamut of emotions going on, because for eons, not just this lifetime, but for lifetimes, you've been taught to stuff your emotions or deny your emotions or want to control your thoughts, or this repression, guilt, shame, fear, control, fear-based. What's happening now, that's not here. Where Spirit is trying to say, okay, this thou shalt not stuff. You got to get above that. There is higher spiritual law. There is high spiritual law. Go into it. But with going into higher spiritual law, you take responsibility for what your decisions are. You don't hide behind the spiritual law. Like I said, there's nowhere to hide and nowhere to run anymore. But when you every day work with yourself and you love yourself, you are the key. Everything in the outer world, on one level, absolutely, the group consciousness is being reflected, good, bad, indifferent, to the extreme. We're seeing everything across the board of craziness. Heroin is as cheap as alcohol. Really? Wow. Huh. Wonder why so many people are dying of heroin overdoses. It's all over IU. It's all over everywhere. It's rampant. You're not hearing about it, but you see the big TV star, sad story, right? And why are people self-medicating? Because they have pain. Pain is not your enemy. Pain's not something you want to seek out. But pain in the mental, spiritual, physical, emotional realm is telling you something is wrong. Pay attention. What do? We're taught very early on That pain is something you don't want to have. You see it in every commercial. My favorite ones are all those ones for depression, and then they show these people, well, it could cause suicidal thoughts and high blood pressure, heart attack. It's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, now that's better than. And you just have to sometimes you have to feel your pain. You don't want to stay in your pain, but you don't want to run away from it because. And I can tell you that's the other thing, the common theme. I'm getting tons of people in here who they could drink, smoke dope, take cocaine, work a lot, have a lot of sex. Whatever their thing was to not feel or to self-medicate or to fool themselves, it's not working. Not working. So then they're really like, it's like, ooh, wait a minute, that's pretty weird. I actually had I've had several people in here lately go, I can't get drunk anymore. That's good. Maybe you stop trying though. Yeah. Because you might not think that you're not drunk and you don't want to have alcohol poisoning at the end of the day. Because it's a very real thing. It's a very real thing. Or people who had food addictions or sugar addictions are the same thing. They're saying, you know what, it's not after the whole quart of ice cream's gone. I'm like a third of the way through it and going, I feel really sick. I don't want this is not good. Because it's not that anything's changed. What's changed is you're changing. You, as your soul, are awakening to reality and to the light. You're coming to life. You have always been this beautiful being of light, but you've been beaten down and you've been it's eons of control and repression and fear-based reality, and that is what's being healed from the earth plane right now, is this incredible unconditional love, and it's not going to stop. But as the light comes in, it exposes what isn't right. So a lot of people, again, well, I don't want to see that. Well, I don't think you have a choice. Mm-hmm. And the more you don't want to see it, guess what you're going to see every minute? The very thing, we know how that works, the very thing you don't want to feel, you don't want to see, you don't want to do, it will happen to you. You will pull it to yourself like a magnet because it's a law of attraction. So again, it's the great mystery of why different of the saints and masters would say, embrace evil, it brings you your greatest lessons. And people would think, what the heck? You're supposed to embrace evil. What are they talking about? It's just like martial law. When you polarize with something, you give it energy. When you identify something as this is evil, I'm good, this is evil, you start to lose energy right away because you're in opposition. You're in a face-off, and you're coming from this place of fear and control. Just like martial arts, they go into the opponent. They embrace the opponent. They work with the energy that's coming at them. That's what it means. So and there's a lot of evil. A lot of New Age thought will tell you there's no evil. They're crazy. Don't believe that. Evil exists. Evil has the word veil in it. Things that are hidden and things that are veiled are what become evil. When the light comes in and the veil in the temple is torn in two and the light comes in, the evil is healed. But that's really what evil is. It's when it's that hidden darkness. It's that veil, when things are veiled. So in your own beings, it's extremely important right now to let that veil be torn and rent and just tear it away. Get rid of the facades, because the facades aren't going to help you, and you're going to find that whatever you used as to be codependent or dysfunctional, or if you were enabling people or they're enabling you, those relationships are falling apart. This is another thing that's happening all over the place. People are going, I don't know why, but I really don't want to be around certain people anymore. Nothing happened. I just don't enjoy it, or I just don't even sometimes like these people anymore. It's because whatever you were learning, you're not getting it, that's not what you're learning anymore. But it's hard because we're all brought up to be codependent. Nobody likes, endings of relationships are hard. They're a death. Divorce is a death. And when we have a separation, any separation reminds us of when we separate it from spirit, we separate it from our mother's, the safety of the mother's womb. It brings up primal things of separation. And so people immediately, a lot of times it's not so much even that you might think you're mourning the relationship that's ended, but it's the tip of the iceberg. It's activating in you any other time you had abandonment, that you had rejection, that you had death, that you felt alone and not in a good way, that you felt where the fear came in. And so what do we want to do? We want to control. We don't want to let go of that thing or that person or that. And then we get mad and we go, yeah, we do. And we get caught in this like push-pull of the lower ego that wants to, well, why, we might want to be with somebody or we don't know why they don't want to be with us, but we all know the story. You get upset if they're seeing somebody else or if they're doing something. You try to go through. It's the lower mind of attachment. What brings real pain? Negative attachment. Ego attachment will get you every time. That's where they get you. That's where those lower frequencies will get you, is about attachment. So again, how do we heal the negative attachment? By working, and I when I say working, I'm not saying not having fun. We all need to have more fun. Everybody needs more joy in their lives. We need joy, happiness, fulfillment, prosperity. That's how Creator wants you to live. Creator wants you to be happy and fulfilled, and Creator doesn't want you to be suffering. How do we attain that? By really manifesting who we are as individuals. No, there's nobody like you. There are archetypes, of course. There are major archetypes of people and manifestations and different things, but every soul is unique. Every soul has its own reasons for wanting to be here right now. And you're being deprogrammed from lots of things of what you thought maybe your parents wanted you to be, or you thought you should be, or who knows, or reactions to them wanting you to do something. See, again, that's the other one. A lot of people find themselves in big dilemmas because it's not so much that they're obedient little children and I'm living out the life that my mom or dad wanted. There's the other extreme when people have gone, hell no, I'm going to defy those people and I'm going to go off in this other path here, and that you're just as much a prisoner when you're doing that, because it's not really you. Why? Because you're living in a reaction to that person or that perceived person or situation. So again, with relationships, notice how they push your buttons. And if you're in a place where and it's a reactive place, breathe really deep, disconnect, go within, and work through it. Because you don't want to keep living your life in a reactive way to what other people or what you perceive other people to be thinking or doing or wanting from you. That is as big of a hell as you'll ever live in. And again, it's both of those extremes. What matters is what you feel within yourself. And that's where it comes to you getting and knowing that you don't need somebody else to intercede between you and spirit. It's something that comes up daily in my sessions with people. People will come in and again, if people come in from the other side, I'm happy with that. But I'm not a fan of let's sit and let's see who just comes in from the other side. No. They don't want that. you don't want that. That's not, there's a bigger reality of your spiritual realm than you going to somebody and they tell you what your loved one wants you to know. So when people come in and they say, tell my mother this or tell my father that, I just start laughing. I go, they're here, they hear you. You don't need, I'm not God. You don't, no, you don't, I know. You don't need me to tell them. But it's a concept that's been, again, misused by religion, by people in my own field, that they want to be the God. They want to be the one. They want you to think they've got the direct connection. What I try to do with that is to activate or give you permission within your own being to know and open to your own communication with God, with others. It's not about me doing that or having that ability and that's where you're dependent on me. That's not a good thing. You have the ability. Everybody has their own unique abilities. I love that I can do certain things or reflect certain things, but I want to teach people to fish the old story. You need to know that your loved ones hear you. God hears you. You don't need to go off and do, we get these elaborate things too about, and again, there's nothing wrong with mission work. There's nothing wrong with helping the poor. There's nothing wrong with soup kitchens. There's nothing wrong with doing good deeds. But I guarantee you, every day of your life, when you are in that open flow of the light and serving the light and having your highest good actualized, people, animals, situations will cross your path that you can help daily, all the time. It's always around you. And you don't have to go looking for it. It becomes magnetized to you. Again, it's that separate way we see things. I'm doing this, but then I'm going to go off and do this missionary work, or then I'm going to go at Thanksgiving and serve food. Those are all wonderful things, but you want to be doing that every day. You want to be an open flowing energy, but not an open flowing energy that's like, you've slashed your wrists and you go, okay, all you vampires, come and take my blood. And we all know about that, where you think you've done a good deed and then you've gotten victimized. Things have to be reciprocal. You're going to start to become more and more aware way earlier than finding yourself on the floor drained by people around you who you have allowed to feed off your energy. You will know, it'll get to the point where you don't even be around those people. But you'll start to know more and more and more ahead of time, and while you're with somebody. Really pay attention to what is really going on in this connection. Is there a flow? Is there a effortless energy that's going back and forth? That's what you want in your life. You don't want to keep attracting situations where you go, well, I did all the work, or I did all the blah blah blah. You're not gonna get a payoff anymore. We used to kind of, there's always that payoff of, you feel good about helping somebody. What's happening now, because there is no more linear aspect of time, and if your lessons are right here in your face, and you won't you'll stop even attracting your old patterns. And you may be having some last rounds of, the last hurrah of certain lessons, certain things that you're having to go through. But once you're finished, they won't interest you that much. I'm sure you can all look back on situations in your life a long time ago, even maybe recently, where you thought, oh my God, this is the job, or this is the person I want to be with. God, please make this happen. Why? Hindsight's 2020, you go, thank God that relationship didn't work out. It's like, whoa, because it's what the lower mind gets caught in of like, ooh, this is great, this is, and then you get a little bit down the road from it, and you know it wasn't that great. It was not a good thing at all. So that's what I'm saying. Don't limit your life right now. Open, 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 open. Because there's a vast universe that this little blue marble of the earth exists in. And there are many solar systems and many beings in this vast universe. We are not alone in this universe. And the more you can think of yourself as a world citizen or a citizen even of the universe, the more you can know that your physical body is a microcosm of the macrocosm. The more you know that your body is the temple and your soul has many facets to it as well. And to feel that divine spark and to know that you were put on this earth to be you. Not somebody else, not all the stuff that's projected in the outer world of what's supposed to make you happy that won't, trust me. Your truth, your reality is here. Before we do a meditation, does anybody have a question or anything? So I'm kind of going in a vast array of subjects, but they all tie in at the end of the day. Any questions or comments? When we do, and we're already there, again, it's this concept of like, now we're here, now we're going to meditate, we're already there. So just relax. Know how safe of a space that this is right here. We are in a safe space. It's a safe space for you to heal, to learn, to be you. It's a safe space to, there's no mind control going on, there's no dogma, this space is all about you feeling safe. When you feel safe, that's when you can open to the unconditional love. When you're in fear-based and you don't feel safe, that's when the negative energy has its big playground. So know and feel the safety, no matter what you're seeing portrayed in the outer world, the hatred, the division. Know that the reality is this. On this earth, we're coming into a time of peace. There will be peace on this earth. There will be lots of things that are amazing. And there's lots of people already living in higher states of consciousness on this earth. There's many people all over the world that meet in groups like this of common connection. When 2 or more of you are gathered in my name, I am there also. I want you to feel the living presence of the Holy Spirit. I want you to feel the reality of energy. And it's this energy that's here is all about unconditional love. It's about healing. It's a real energy. In accordance with each person's free will and highest good, we ask the bodies to align mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally into present time. Safe to be who you are. It's safe to let your light shine. It's safe to feel all of this huge, vast being of light that you are. It's safe to come out of hiding. You no longer need to hide your light under the bushel for fear of victimization or all the dark things that happened in the past with persecution. I want you to feel the safety of being in the gifts of Holy Spirit that you have. Everyone has their purpose. Everyone has chosen to be here at this time. I want you just to feel and open to receive this unconditional love and let it activate, let it go into every cell of your body. There's a tingling, warm energy moving through the room. Your energy body goes out 20, 30, 40 feet. I want you to feel the vast being that you are that goes way beyond the physical shell, physical temple. And I want you to feel the positive effects of the pull of gravity on your body. I want you to feel the magnetic energy grounding you, pulling you, holding you to her. I want you to feel how cleansed and pure and wonderful the Mother Earth is. I want you to let go of the fear that she's dying or that she's toxed out. She's shaking the parasites off of her. She's alive, she's well, and I want you just to feel how safe it is to be a spiritual being on the earth at this time. The bottoms of your feet have hundreds of wheels of light or chakras that connect you like no other, deep, deep, deep into the earth. When we used to go barefoot all the time, we had that direct connection with the earth and the nutrients and the energies that were being pulled up from the earth through our body. When we started to wear shoes, there started to be somewhat of a disconnect from that energy. So I want you just to, any chance you get, be barefoot in your home, in your yard, feel that connection. But right now, I want you to know that the bottoms of your feet, again, are vibrating. They have many, many, many wheels of light that have a root system. You're a walking tree. It's the great mystery of the tree of life. You are the tree of life. Your body is the tree of life. I want you to feel the safety of the earth, the nurturing energy of the earth, and feel that energy moving up through your body into every cell. I also want you to know that the earth has the ability to cleanse, transmute the negative energy, the toxic energy. So I want you just to feel that pull of gravity pulling every bit of the darkness, every bit of the stress, the worry, the guilt, the shame, the fear, the aggravation levels that we've all been going through. Just let it go. Just let it go down deep to the earth to be healed, to be neutralized. A lot of people have been feeling heaviness in the heart, in the chest, and the shoulder area. I want you to imagine that you've been carrying around a wet wool cloak. Let it go. Just unhook it at the neck. Let it fall away. Let the burdens go. Let the drama go. Let the trauma go. Let the worry. Let the fear. Let it go. We ask all pictures of death to be turned into pictures of life. All pictures of fear to be transmuted into pictures of unconditional love and truth. Let the poisons of the body, mind, and spirit go. Let the things that have been festering, that have been building up in your vibration, let them move. Let them go deep, deep, deep into the earth. want you to feel the energy moving up through the root chakra. The root chakra is the color black because it's the color of the earth. It's in the perineum, tailbone area of the body, and it's a very real root. It is like a taproot, and it goes down deep, deep, deep again into the center of the earth. And again, it has the ability to pull poisons and toxins out of the body, mind, and spirit. And it also has the ability to pull nurturing energy up from the earth. So I want you to know, as you're this walking tree of life, how free you are to be safe on this earth and to be grounded and to be held to the earth in a positive way. I want you to feel in your body, mind or spirit, any discomfort. Don't ignore it, just any type of pain, any type of suffering, just bring it up, let it go, let it move, let the light go into every cell of your body. And I want you to feel the most wonderful, beautiful color of red going through the whole sexual reproduction area of the body. The second chakra is not just about sexuality or reproduction. It is where you create. It's the seat of co-creation. It's the seat of regeneration. We ask again all pictures of aging to be turned into pictures of youthing, all pictures of death to be transmuted into pictures of unconditional love and truth. The opposite of creation is destruction. We ask all destructive, stagnant energy that's trapped in the second chakra to be healed in accordance with each person's free will and highest good. We ask all energies that where there might have been molestation, abuse, or any type of fear, shame, guilt that's being held in this area of the body, let it go. It's safe to be a spiritual, sexual being, co-creative being on the earth at this time, here to co-create with spirit. And I want you to, we're going to speak to the immune system because for different ways and different reasons, people's immune systems are very affected by everything that's going on right now. I want you just to feel the power of this red energy going into every cell of your body, creating new life force. I want to feel call the immune system forward to be strengthened, to be healed. We ask infections in the body, viruses in the body, cancer cells in the body, miasms are no longer welcome in the body as lessons. They need to come forward to be transmuted into light. No longer choose to be a host for decay, disease, destructive energy. Let it go. We ask spirit to go back to the root of negative, destructive energy that's in your body, mind, or spirit. Anywhere you're holding the negativity, the destruction, the decay, we want to pull it out by the root. You want to go back to point of origin in the physical DNA. Sins of the fathers that go through 7 generations go back into the 7 generations of repeating storylines that need to be cleansed. Let it go. It's safe to be reborn. It's safe to heal the body, mind, and spirit. It's safe to have restoration of the body, mind, and spirit. We ask the Archangel Michael to sever all negative cords that are binding in any way, binding you, keeping you trapped into suffering, negativity, decay, death, destruction. I want you to feel the power of life. Let this red blood energy create new life force in your own being. Let it go into every cell of the body. Again, we ask for restoration of the body, mind, and spirit. We ask for strengthening of the immune system. We ask all the parasitic energies and diseased energies to be transmuted into light or go somewhere else to find expression. They're no longer welcome in the body, mind, and spirit. I want you to feel the energy moving up right below the navel is what we call the Christ or the Buddhic flame. And it's a beautiful orange, yellow, violet color, just like a color of a flame. It's just as if you were going to turn on a gas flame, a gas stove. I want you to turn that knob. And I want you to ignite your central sun, this third chakra. I want you just to turn that knob and let it ignite. If we're made in the image of Creator, the center of the universe, the center of your being is this third chakra, is this central sun, is this navel, this umbilicus area. I want you to feel this sun. It's yellow, it's orange, it's powerful. It burns away the darkness. It radiates out through your whole auric field, through your bones, through your blood, through every cell of your being. It's purging out the darkness. It's cleansing out dis-ease. It's activating, bringing new life, new energy. I want you to feel the power of this third chakra, of this central sun. Ignite it, connect it, shining bright. I want you to feel safe enough to come down into your body temple. Come down. This is why Buddha was contemplating his navel. I want you to imagine a little you sitting in your navel. I want you to imagine a microcosmic you sitting in this central sun. Come down into this energy field. When you are in this part of your body, in an alignment, it's a big secret thing about being whole. When you are safe, people always want to be in the upper chakras. You've got to have the furnace. You've got to have the first three energy centers going to support the upper chakras. But I'm telling you now, when you are truly in your empowerment and you're centered and you're in this area of your being and feeling safe about being in your power, miracles happen. And it's when addictions stop. When people are not in this part of their body, they want to do drugs, they want to eat, they want to fill up what's missing. What's missing is you being in your body and in your life. Come on down into your life, into your story, into your reason for being here, into your central sun, into this most important part of your body. Be in this sun. Let it radiate. Let it burn up the dross. Let it fire up and go through every cell of your being. Feel the power of this center and how important it is to be present in your body. We have the furnace moving, burning, going up, filling up through the chest, up through Just let it go, not just to the heart, but through the whole chest area, through the lungs. I want you to fill your lungs and feel your heart and your chest area and your shoulders with this amazing emerald green energy, this amazing healing emerald green light. Let it go, let it move, let it integrate, let it heal those wounds. It's safe to keep your heart open at all times. What kills people is the opening and shutting of the heart chakra. I want you to feel your heart. It's safe to have your heart open. It's safe to receive unconditional love from self, others, and spirit. It's safe to give unconditional love to self, others, and spirit. It's safe to be who you are. It's safe to love yourself unconditionally. The inner psyche of a male is female. The inner psyche of a female is male. The yin and the yang. I want you to make peace with your inner beloved, your inner soulmate. How you feel about you, how united you are and at peace you are with your inner anima or animus or inner soulmate is what you will pull to you from the outer world. So I want you to feel the barriers, the guarding, the layering that you've put there to not feel. We don't want to be hurt. You couldn't hurt yourself anymore if you try. When you're hurting yourself by closing your heart, you're hurting yourself by living in the mentality of love hurts. Things are going to end anyway, so I might as well just settle, all the stuff that people do. Keep your heart open. Open, 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 open. Let this energy move through your whole being. Let the wounds open. It's just like it's like putting a Band-Aid over cancer. Don't cover your wounded heart. We've all had abandonment, rejection, unrequited love, betrayal, disappointment. Don't keep perpetuating it. Your value is not based on what another person thinks or feels about you. They are reflecting to you and saying things to you that you feel good, bad, and different within your core, within your own heart. Feel the soothing energy coming into your open, open, open heart. There's no need to open or close. You always want to have the heart open, and you will pull to yourself others who have their hearts and minds open. When you are fearful, when you are guarding, when you are hanging on to the hurt, to the betrayals, to the cycles, to the past relationships, you will keep finding people that prove what you feel is how relationships are. You will keep repeating. Let it go. Let it go. What is important is for you to know how loved you are, unconditionally loved that you are by Spirit, by the Divine Mother, by the Divine Father, how you were created from their love, and how needed you are on this earth to be the radiant being of light, the individual being of light, the beacon of light. Living your life simply, every moment, with your heart open, operating from your higher mind, being present mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally is when miracles happen. It's when you walk away and think, I wish I would have done this, I wish I would have said that. It's time to just be in your life, be in your space, be in your body, and feel how safe it is to be in a place of unconditional love and how unsafe it is to stay in fear. Let the fear go. Let this beautiful, unbroken circuit of energy flow through every cell of your body. And I want you to feel the energy moving up into the throat chakra. It's a color of blue, a beautiful electric blue color. And as you feel this electric blue energy, it's safe to speak your truth. It's safe to hear the truth. I want you to feel this energy moving up and healing the throat, the ears, the sinuses, the teeth, the gums. Let this healing sapphire electric blue energy move the stagnancy out. Let go of the allergies. Let go of the sinus infections. Let go of the breathing difficulties. Breathe in the breath of life. Let go of the fear that wants you to keep the breath of life flowing through you. Open, open, open. Heal. It's safe to speak your truth. It's safe to hear your truth. It's safe to hear with the inner ear. It's safe to feel empathically. I want you to feel the energy moving up into the pineal and pituitary glands, functioning of the third eye. And there's actually 2 pulse points in the forehead. And we ask for a safe opening of the third eye, of the inner eye. And again, in accordance to your abilities, and in accordance in a way that brings positive energy and information for yourself and others. But I want you to picture the most beautiful violet purple energy moving through the endocrine system. Feel these pulse points like a fountain moving this energy through all parts of your being. It's safe to see with the inner eye. It's safe to go within. And I want you to feel your crown, the crown chakra. I want you to feel, you may feel itching energy, or you may feel activity there because babies are born with a soft spot. This is your spiritual umbilical cord, the umbilical cord. This is where you come and go at night. This is when you pass out of your body. You leave from the feet up and you go out. And you go to sleep at night and go into higher dimensional states. You stay connected to the silver cord. But I want you to imagine the most beautiful crown that you can think of sitting on your head. Crowns were created not just for appearances. The different stones, the different types of metal that were used were meant to be conductors of certain types of energies. Just want you to imagine this beautiful crown on your head. And I want you to feel the power and electrical energy of the Divine Father. It's not a lightning bolt of punishment. I want you to feel the electrical, alive, creative energy of the Divine Father coming down through the top of your head, being pulled by the magnetic energy of the earth, the Divine Mother. And I want you to feel that union, that mystery that we are of heaven and earth. When you're feeling this crown, I want you to imagine, again, you're this huge being of light, and each of you are connected with your own star. I just want you to feel the heavens and feel the glory and wonderment of the heavens and the firmament, and pull that star energy down on top of your head. Let it connect and energize and give you wisdom and knowledge and memory of where you came from and why you're here. It's safe to remember who you are and why you're here. We ask for a healing and restoration of the adrenals. There's been so much happening for people. The adrenals are very, very stressed. I want you to feel the adrenal glands in the lower back being healed, being brought into divine right order, being brought into a safe space instead of running like you're running your energy. It's like turning on a car and stepping on the gas and you don't go anywhere. Lots of that kind of thing going on with people's adrenal glands. We ask for a healing. We send this energy to all sentient beings. We send this energy to all our brothers and sisters, all the family of spirit, not just a few. We ask for peace on earth. We ask for a healing and understanding of the division, a healing and understanding of the violence, of the fear. We ask for peace and calm and the right way of thinking and miracles to manifest in this level instead of the hatred and division. We send light and healing to the families that were so affected by this tragic incident. We ask for, as an archetype, that there will be a healing so this is not repeated. We ask the highest good to come from this. You may be getting images, feelings, colors. Let them just come up. Let it move. Let it be released. And when you're ready, feel the oneness. Stay in this state. Know that you can always be in this state. Our brains are like computers, and what we're experiencing is being downloaded. It's a real experience. It's not something that happens just in that moment. The energy, the healing, the experiences, bring them into this realm. Bring them in consciously into this next space. Leave behind the heaviness, the worry, the stress. Let it go. Breathe in the breath of life. Exhale the negative energy. Return feeling whole, well, healed, energized. And in your life, in your center, being centered and grounded and awakened. Wow. There's a lot of energy moving around the room too. It's still it's like there's a vortex of energy. It almost felt like this whole thing I was sitting on here was moving. There's a lot of movement, and the stagnant energy is what needs to be cleansed and healed. So you all let go of tons, we let go of tons and tons of things that were poisonous and stagnant, and places you were captured. These things are gone. They're gone. You're out of that. Let it just stay out of it. Stay out of it. Stay in this place. This is a real place of being within your own body, mind, and spirit. It's a very real place that you can operate out of and that you want to operate out of. Lots of attachments fell away. At one point, I could feel the whole room filling up with like vast amounts of pictures and people and energy and thought forms and old ways of thinking and feeling and believing and limited stuff. And all of a sudden, it was just like the flames of the central sun came and just burned them up. So there was a huge releasing tonight of attachment, which is a good thing because you will actually feel this. You will actually go out of here, and certain things that used to push your buttons or pull you, or where you had a negative, toxic attachment, you won't feel it because it's gone. It's just not here. And then what happens is all of the beautiful energy that's been waiting for you to have a more whole, healed life, there's room for it to come in. And it may feel strange at first because you're so used to guarding or hiding or attaching or being in this place of division, that the place of wholeness will feel a little strange sometimes at first. So we've conditioned ourselves to be in suffering, or conditioned ourselves to be in attachment. So now it's like there's just this bountiful amount of light and energy filling in and going where it needs to go, and you're pulling it to yourself. There's no need to go out and seek things or do this. Again, dharma is when you get, karma is when you're on a merry-go-round. And for a while it's kind of fun and the horses are moving up and down, and pretty soon the scenery gets boring because it's a repetition of it's just a circle. Dharma is when you get off of the wheel of drama, trauma, and the wheel of life and energy will always move, but you're no longer on it. You're the dot. And all that you need, all that you want, you can pull to yourself from that centered place. When you're centered, the wheel is always moving, but you pull there. You don't have to be in a reactive place or riding the wheel. It's what kills people. It's what wears people out. It's what drains you. So hold that image of getting off the ride, staying stationary, and feeling that magnetic electrical energy within your own being pulling to yourself your highest good, pulling to yourself and activating and being in an interactive way with everything, but not in a way where you're captured or trapped or where there's that codependence or dysfunction or that negative energy. There's no need to stay in places of suffering. So again, we've gotten so conditioned to suffer or to turn our power over to other people and other things that at first, it's just like when people get out of jail and they don't know what to do, so they do something bad so they can get back in jail. So people will tell them when to get up, when to eat, what to do. Don't be that person. Venture out away from the jail. Take the. You don't want to be a prisoner anymore. You don't want to be going back in there. You have the ability to govern your life, to know what is right, what is wrong, what is, to have that guidance, to take that responsibility, to heal yourself, to heal others, to live a full, productive life that brings joy and happiness and fulfillment to everybody. So be in that space. It's the only space you want to be in. You don't sneak back into jail. It is not fun. You don't want to be. You don't want to go back in there. But it is. It's like the lower mind. Many times will go, whoa, wait a minute. What is this? And because sometimes it's not as familiar as what you've held yourselves into, it can feel overwhelming. I guarantee you, the more you venture out, stay in that energy, it just is magical, and all kinds of amazing, miraculous things happen for you. Does anyone have any questions or anything you want to share? It was a really interesting meditation. It was really, they're always different, and that's what I like about doing them. They're never the same. They're always different. Whoever is here contributes to, it's a group energy. Whatever Spirit tells me to do with the guided meditation, we do say some of the same things, but it's always a different factors that come in, because again, we are not separate. We're like one energy. So when we do the agreement of being in this space and having all of ourselves present, miraculous things happen. So there was a lot. Again, I think one of the most interesting things for me was that at least 2 or 3 times, tons of energy filled up in here that was definitely just lower frequency, not light, but it just instantly got burned up. It was just gone. Then we just kept pushing through. And then is when I felt a lot of, if you've been having lower back pain, or you've been feeling like you're on your last nerve, the adrenal, there's a lot of adrenal fatigue in the room. Everybody had adrenal fatigue. And our poor adrenals are just like, whoa. They get, it's just like when you start a car and rev up the engine, but you don't go anywhere. And there's all this, as we're turning into light, and we're shifting, and we're changing, and we're being bombarded with things. The poor adrenals are, and they're connected also with fear and excitement, and So you really, another thing to do is to do directed breath with your mind into the lower back, into the adrenals, anywhere you have discomfort in the body. You can do that, body, mind, or spirit. But I feel like you're all going to start to feel better. It's almost like we reset our engine. So instead of them racing, it's like the adrenals are going, oh, good, now we can relax. We don't have to be running everywhere with nowhere to go. So you'll feel a lot calmer and you'll get a lot farther. You won't feel like, what do I do with all this energy that's here and all this? Because that's the other thing. As you're healing and as you're becoming aware of who you are and the limitless thinking and the things you want to do, you will get so excited and you're going to start to just have tons of neat stuff come in. So let it come in, let it move, let it take you where you need to go. It's an interesting time. I had a phone call this morning from someone who told me that a person is actually a person that I, sometime I'll talk more about it, but someone I was very soul connection with this person I first met in 1975, 76. Very dear person. And it's too long of a story to tell now, but it's a typical story of very intense karmic connections, very intense influence, very intense everything, but through different reasons, separation. But probably at least 4 or 5 times, I don't know, more than that, probably like once a month, whatever, for years, I always see this person in dreams and we connect. They lived right here in town, but through different people that were around this person that was kind of kept away, there were blocks, whatever. And I actually consciously wanted to connect because I felt there was transition coming. So for the last 6 or 7 days, I felt death. I mean, I felt death everywhere, and I felt in my own body death, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to die. What is this death thing again? What is going on? I mean, as a matter of fact, there were a couple of nights in abject, I wasn't afraid, but I could feel the death energy, and I could feel the suffering. And then I started to think, I don't think this is me. Well, wake up today and there's a phone call that my friend made transition in their sleep last night. And I didn't get to see him in this level. And I tried and again, it's a lesson about being in your own life and about not polarizing. Sometimes you can't be in a polarized place with things, but yeah, it's not stopping in my world. It's like, it's just, oh. So, but then then amazing thing, right when I got, so yesterday, today, big culminating days. You know, y'all know I'm trying to do this refinancing thing, and Merlin's gotten involved now, and it's been like this bizarre storyline of just weirdness. So every day I just kind of go, wow, okay, whatever this is all about is its own drama and its own thing. That was interesting. Then I get a phone call, or I get a text message or a thing on private message from this amazing woman artist that I know, and I've literally not laid eyes on her in probably 10 years, 15 years. And her art is like the most amazing. I mean, I can't even describe the spiritual art that she does. It's beyond. And I wake up after I got that news, then I look at this, and she goes, you know, I've been seeing you in dreams, and Spirit wants, I want you to pick one of these paintings. I'm going to send it to you tomorrow. And I'm like, well, and it's the Hamas. It's the, she did all, this one series are, you know, it's like the all-seeing eye that's in the hand to ward off the, but they, oh my God, you should see, well, I'm going to have them. So she's sending me all, actually going to send me, end up sending me all, they're fabulous. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is, and then she had ideas for, we need to do, I want you to give me ideas, because I can't draw a straight line, but I see things all the time, and I hear things about what, but I can't paint or draw. And she goes, Spirit wants you to, the things you're teaching and you're seeing, you need to tell me so I can put them in these forms. I know, right? I'm like, whoa. Because I'm like, okay, this is really, now it's really getting interesting, because for years I feel things, see things, and other people have thought they wanted to do that. Never happened, never. This was like, she said, this is what, then we can put these, it was amazing. I thought there are endless amounts of, so the body of God, the body of Spirit is visible now. So we're all finding each other. So all the frustrations and all the things, and what's interesting is I believe that this person actually, my friend who passed over, was a very famous designer here in town for years. He's in his 70s now. And he, back in the 70s, was responsible for connecting me with a huge Jewish clientele and lots of people. And I actually believe that this woman actually had come through that connection. So yeah, it gets more and more and more and more interesting when you see these things. And so it don't let your lower mind trick you or limit you or keep you in a place of, when you're being bombarded with all the things that we're all being bombarded with, know that so much is gone full circle, but so much of what the bigger plan for your life is revealed now and is coming into manifested form. And don't get hung up on the death. Feel the energy of life. And the connection that I had with this person for so many years now has been in dreams and has been in higher consciousness, that there's no separation of that now. There's no, it's just obviously there and moving around and connecting. So it's a time, it's a very mysterious, amazing time that we're living in. And the trick is, the storyline is, don't get distracted with crap. Don't let little stuff get you off your path. Don't get sidetracked into the lower frequencies. Just don't do it. And don't close down. Just keep knowing that there is a divine plan. The divine plan is unfolding. The divine plan is manifesting, and get out of the way of it. Know that consciously your high self, this big being of light that you are, this pilot self, is consciously integrating with the lower mind, with the heart, and that separation is going, that illusion of the separation will get less and less. And before you know it, you'll just be flowing in a frequency of attracting, not destruction, not fear, but you'll be attracting in all of the unconditional love.
question. Really like what you said about karma and dharma, and how you can be like at a focal point in consciousness where you're not really in the illusion all the time. And my question is, and then you talked about miracles, just common day synchronicities where you know you're aligned with your spirit. They're everywhere. I've
Exactly.
been noticing that for like the last year. You know?
I can see it in your vibration. Oh yeah, I felt you coming. I
It's
thought,
good.
woo, isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's very, very
Yeah, I've known this young man for a long time. He's
long time.
was a couple years older than my son. How I don't know how you.
I think I'm 2 years old.
2 years older.
Yeah.
than
How's it
Merlin.
going?
Yeah, and he'll be 28 on Saturday.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm almost 30. But I'm
See?
29.
There you go. Right. When will you be? When's your birthday?
October 15th.
Yeah.
So I'm a Libra.
See, there you go. And so he's been in this house many times when he was a teenager
It's a lot of fun.
and a little kid. Because he went to
Yeah.
Orchard and different places. Too. I remember you and your sister when you were little kids. It's
She
amazing.
just got married.
I know. I don't know that you did. Your stepfather's cousin who lives in New Jersey. His
Joseph.
wife is a friend of. I hoped you guys would have made direct connection, but we'll talk about
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably.
but she was at the it's when I was in New Jersey 5 years ago, spending a lot of time. I actually met her when I was doing work there. And I know, isn't it? I know. Wait, there's a lot of stuff around that whole story too. But yeah, she called me, and then other friends came in that you guys didn't tell me at the wedding, and I was like so happy to hear about that. That's awesome. Were you at the Scottish Rite?
Was, yeah.
Yeah, and I officiate weddings, and so they kept trying to describe where. I said, "Oh, it's got to be the Scottish Rite," and which is such an amazing
Awesome. Over the
goddess building that they won't allow women into as members. But yeah, it's building. That's why they're dying out.
I didn't even know that.
So they have it's built in sacred geometry, and you can feel it when you're in there.
Yeah,
It's
I
kind of like
noticed that. A lot of
whoa.
esoteric.
Everything's
Neutral-
like 44,
neutral
33.
esotericism.
It's got a really interesting vibration to it. So I'm so glad that you came. That's really, it's a neat time. But it is. And synchronicities are always a confirmation that you're in the right place at the right time for the right things to happen. When you have those things that just click, 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 that's God's way of saying, whoop, you're in the flow.
So you friend requested me, speaking of synchronicities, and then I saw your video shortly afterwards. It was exactly where I was at. There's
Wow.
not too many people you can talk about this stuff with.
Sure.
So it's feeling the shifts, feeling the revelation, seeing my own darkness as well.
Sure.
And my fiance. And then I saw your video and it put things in perspective.
Oh,
You talked about the shifts, you talked about, the darkies or whatever, and not to really stress about them, just to focus on purpose.
Exactly.
They'll fade out of existence like they were originally designed to do in the first place. So.
Exactly. All that, because it can, and as we all know, when you tune into that stuff, it gives it power, man, and it's like overwhelming. And so there's so much light coming into this level right now, and it's just a matter of, so it's wonderful. I'm so happy you're here. This is great.
A lot of deaths in life, too, recently. I mean,
I've had so much death.
4 close people died. Young guy, friend of mine, is in ICU right now. And these are good people. Like, these aren't,
I know.
these aren't, not that there's a difference, but you know what I mean. I would consider them human angels. The ones.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, the good die young.
Doing bigger things. out
Sometimes the good die young. Yeah,
Right.
and that's exactly right. My mother passed, my aunt passed. It's just, it's been, and then Merlin he plays dodgeball every Sunday. 2-3 Sundays ago, 33-year-old man on his dodgeball collapsed and died. But same thing, wonderful it's like there's transition right now. That gate is open, and again, there's no death. They're free from the pain, free from the suffering, and again, I agree. I think a lot of the younger people are transitioning. There's other realms. The universe is vast, and there's many other places than love never dies, and we change form. Matter never dies, and so there's just this transmutation of energy. We get so attached to the physical form of things. So it's such a fascinating time of, I think it's about changing our concepts also about life and death. And a lot of you probably read the thing, it was a couple days ago, I was having a really intense things again with money and with this refinancing and this constant like, wow. 30 years ago it was the same thing. It was this big struggle to even get this because we owned 2 other properties and we had to have somebody else, we had to buy it on contract and then have it was this whole, it started out that way. So why would it be, so it's all this kind of thing. And so a woman they used to come to all the meditation stuff, and Rosemary's in her late 70s now. And Glenda goes, why is Rosemary here? And she goes, I think she's in the parking lot. So she goes out, and I go out, and she'd become a very good friend with my mom. And then she said my mom had sent her that she's going through things, and she's in her late 70s, and anything she bought from my mom, and my mom was a Leo, and she would have stuff and she'd just get rid of it. In fact, she'd have garage sales and sell my stuff. She was a clean freak. Merlin was the same thing. Merlin's 6 years old. He's got a sign out there selling this guy is telling you. So, and I look in the back seat, and in this thing, she had this, I put it on my Facebook page, this beautiful onyx tray with the onyx coffee pot, teapot, and creamer. And at first I didn't even remember it. And I was like, oh my God, my mom got that in Mexico a billion years ago, and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, I don't have any children. Your mom, you're supposed to have this. And it just changed the whole frequency of the day. It was like, whoa, yeah. And you could feel this energy coming from the onyx. It was just like golden. It was this golden onyx color stuff. It's beautiful. And she goes, yeah, your mom was, I think before she moved to Florida, and she was getting rid of things. Because I got this, she started telling me other things. I got this, I got that, and so I'm just going to be bringing them over. I'm like, Mom, here you are. Yeah. And then she just keep remanifesting. So it's amazing how sometimes your lowest moment, God works in mysterious ways. And people that hear and act on the hearing it's really amazing. Yeah, it's neat. So I'll be here next week, and it's going to be a fantastic, I just feel like there's such a huge energy shift that happened with this group tonight too. So send you all love and healing energy, and until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.